Well, the election is almost upon us, and it's up to each and every citizen to make the choice whether the country is going to be utterly screwed or screwed utterly, whether we're going to careen swiftly toward the cliff of destruction with a corrupt woman at the wheel, or whether we'd prefer a man, whether we're going to continue on the path to tyranny and mediocrity, or whether we'll stop off at mediocrity first and then head on to tyranny after lunch. To help you make this important decision, the Andrew Klavan Show has collected a series of test questions that should train you to recognize which choice is worse. Here we go. Which is worse? A, to elect a president who has mistreated women, disparaged minorities, and proposed idiotic policies that will continue America's decline, or B, to vote for Donald Trump and get all that plus the comical hair. Which is worse? A, to have our news media rightly denounce Donald Trump for his disgusting treatment of women, or B, to have our news media rightly denounce Trump while being the same news media that gives Hillary Clinton a pass for persecuting her husband's rape victims, or C, to have our news media. Which is worse? A, to live in a country where women openly read 50 Shades of Grey, a pornographic sex fantasy in which a horrible rich guy violently abuses a woman and she gets off on it, or B, to have those women put the book aside just long enough to denounce Donald Trump for actually being the guy they're fantasizing about. Which is worse? A, to live in a country that has ceased to love God and therefore men have no honor and women have no virtue, or B, to live in a country that continues to love God, where men do have honor and women do have virtue, and then discover you're in Saudi Arabia. Which is worse? A, to have to admit you were a flaming idiot when you called Ben Shapiro a conservative because he wouldn't support Trump, or B, to be such a flaming idiot that you don't even realize how big a flaming idiot you are. Which is worse? A, to have the next Supreme Court justice appointed by a president who opposes the First, Second, and Fifth Amendments, or B, to have the next Supreme Court justice appointed by a president who's never read the First, Second, and Fifth Amendments, but at least can grab a woman by the crotch and get away with it. So I guess that's something. Which is worse? A, to be a patriotic, freedom-loving American during election 2016, or B, to be a patriotic, freedom-loving American who was run over by a cement truck and left lying helpless by the side of the road, and then a psychedelic bus pulls up beside you and a large party of evil zombie clowns gets out and they begin to feed on your body from the feet up so that you're alive through every agonizing and terrifying second right up until your very last breath when you softly whisper, well, that was bad, but not as bad as election 2016. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shaped, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
What the hell is going on? These Klavanless weekends are getting so bad that even I can't stand them, and they're not Klavanless for me. This is like terrible. But we're back, so that's something. Yeah, woo-woo, and Lindsay is back. Yay! Lindsay, you know, Lindsay has made this entire show, this little sign you made, didn't you? That was your sign originally. Scored our theme song. You made that all the music on our theme song. What else did you do? You did something else. What? Woohoo! Yes, of course. While you're here, you have to record your woohoo, and we'll have her on to Wave. But we don't have her on to Wave until the guys who haven't subscribed to the site are tossed off Facebook and YouTube.
Wait till you see what I'm wearing.
Well, I know it's incredible. If I seem distracted, this is why. All right, we're going to talk plenty of culture. We have fixed our incredible technology to get Michael Knowles, our cultural correspondent. We will not have the problem we had last time where you couldn't hear him. You will be able to hear him. Could be worse. I'm not sure. And I'm going to tell a ghost story. I'm going to tell one of my favorite ghost stories. It takes about 2 minutes to tell, and it'll be for Halloween stuff I like. So I cannot believe the level to which this campaign has now flushed itself. And I have to, you know, I actually woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and started thinking about Donald Trump and the stuff he said in this videotape. And first of all, we're kind of living in feminist logic world now, right? Feminist logic is like 3 points of feminist logic. 1, women are exactly the same as men. 2, men stink. 3, you have to respect women. I'm not sure that really holds together as a system of logic. So now Donald Trump comes out and they catch him on this tape, on this bus, talking to Billy Bush. And I'm going to be absolutely bluntly honest. They are talking like men talk when men are together. It is a form of swaggering. It is not the best thing about us. It is the way guys talk. And he's from New York. I'm from New York. People from New York talk a little bit rougher than the people in the rest of the country. And that is the way he's talking. Listen, none of this is new information. Donald Trump is a lowlife. Donald Trump commits adultery and brags about it. Bad enough to commit adultery. Anybody can have a problem. But to brag about it, he brags about it. He did it in both of his books. In two of his books, I believe. I know he did it in The Art of the Deal, which is his best-selling book. He brags about committing adultery. He brags about the way he treats women. He has violent tendencies. He's ignorant. He doesn't prepare for anything. He's arrogant. He's all these things. But we knew all that already. This tape comes out and gives us nothing. And the hypocrisy is just stunning. We're going to play it. I'm sure everybody has heard it by now, but let's play a little bit of it with all the bad words cut out.
I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, and she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hottest in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man!
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
And poor Billy Bush has now been suspended. What is he, the police? He's supposed to stop him from, like you're sitting there with this big star and you're supposed to stop him. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, it's the hypocrisy that's killing me. Like suddenly the left has discovered purity. I mean, these are people who are trying to let men use women's bathrooms, who are trying to tell us that every form of perversion that you can possibly think of, it's just the way you are. Hey, this is just Donald Trump's sexuality. He should start a movement for boars, This is like boar liberation. I mean, it's just, this is the media. The media is going to come out and tell us that Donald Trump is nasty to women. It's the media that has been protecting Hillary Clinton as he goes out of his way to say. But I just want to pause for just a minute and think back on Teddy Kennedy. Teddy Kennedy, who left, look, there's no question about this. He drove a woman, probably a woman he was trying to seduce. We don't know that for sure. But he drove a young woman into the drink, into the water off Chappaquiddick. And he left her there. And he went and he changed his clothes, probably to establish an alibi. He chatted amiably with friends while she was in the car. They never got to do an autopsy on her because they buried her too quick. But there's every indication that she was on the car, pounding on the windows, trying to get out while he was establishing. When he died, here's the ABC News, first 30 seconds of the ABC News report on Teddy Kennedy's death.
Ted Kennedy is gone. For millions of Americans, that's hard to imagine. So long had the youngest of the 9 children of the Kennedy clan blazed forth on the center stage of American politics. Edward Moore Kennedy died of brain cancer a little before midnight Tuesday at the age of 77 at his home at the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. He was dubbed the Lion of the Senate, serving in that body for an amazing 46 years, the 3rd longest tenure ever. And now John Donvan looks back at the liberal who roared.
The liberal, the lion, that's L-Y-I-N, I guess, the Lion of the Senate. I mean, come on. You protected this dirtbag who was having affairs on his wife constantly. They protect, and he said millions of Americans mourned. I don't think there are millions of Americans in the press. I think maybe all the media mourned. So now they're going to tell us that Donald Trump is a bad guy. And also, this goes for the people, the Republicans too, by the way, the guys who endorsed him with enthusiasm, the guys who said this is a good person, and now suddenly, oh my goodness, now throwing their aprons over their faces and running from the room. The Paul Ryan, and listen, I love Paul Ryan. I respect Paul Ryan. He says, what did he say? Oh, I'm sickened by what I heard. Women are to be championed and revered, not objectified. Now we've got to revere. What are we in a fertility cult? I mean, we have to revere women. I mean, look, all this stuff works as long as you have ladies and gentlemen. That culture is so long gone from every place but my house. That is a culture is so long gone that you just can't hold this guy up. So Trump he's got the debate coming up. Everybody's expecting him to get creamed. Trump pulls a surprise attack. I thought it was actually brilliant. And he brings on 3 of the women who have accused Bill Clinton of not only mistreating them, but they've also accused Hillary Clinton of coming after them for doing it. And this new one, he's got Kathy Shelton, who Hillary Clinton defended the guy who was accused of raping her when she was 12. So this is just Kathy Shelton part of this Facebook press conference he holds.
At 12 years old, Hillary put me through something that you would never put a 12-year-old through. And she says she's for women and children. And she was asked last year on what happened, and she says she's supposed to defend whether they did it or not. Now she's laughing on tape, saying she knows they did it.
Okay, now, if I haven't alienated the people who hate Donald Trump already, now I'm going to alienate the people who love Donald Trump. This story is also garbage. This story is garbage. Hillary Clinton was appointed to defend, as a young attorney, a judge appointed her to defend the guy who was accused of raping this young girl. That's her job. That's what a defense attorney has to do. When the judge tells you, when you're a young lawyer, you have to do it, you don't say, no, judge, I can't do that. She was appointed to do this. She took it. The case had a lot of bad evidence. The evidence was bad. The stories were messed up. The woman herself was not unimpeachable. She negotiated a plea deal for this clown where he got 5 years, but the judge gave him 4 years off and 2 months off, so he served like 10 months in the county jail, something like this. They say she laughs about this. It's not true. In an interview she did in the 80s, the case was 75, in an interview she did in the 80s, here's the clip that everybody talks about, her laughing. She's talking about this, her defense of this guy.
It was a fascinating case. It was really an interesting case. This guy was accused of raping a 12-year-old who was the daughter of the family he was living in Springfield. They lived on the side of the tracks in Springfield. And the guy was from Green Forest. His family still had a little farm. But he was one of these rootless folks who wasn't going to make a living on the land, and he was kind of around. Ended up in Springfield looking the places over there. Of course, he claimed that he did all this stuff. He took a lie detector test. I had to take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs.
So she's laughing because the polygraph, he passed the polygraph. She knew he was guilty. I mean, so that, I don't know. That to me, that's not so bad. She laughs another time in it, that she got off this guy. She helped this guy get off. She didn't help him get off, and she didn't. That's not what she was laughing about. I'm sorry. Hillary Clinton is every inch as bad as Donald Trump. She's dishonest. She's greedy. She is, so ambitious as to have lost all sense of right and wrong in her life. She lies. She has a glitch in her head in the same way Trump has this glitch where he has to defend himself. She has this glitch where she lies even when you don't need to lie. She lies about anything. She's a terrible person. This tape also is nonsense. The truth is the Trump tape is nonsense and this is nonsense. So now they go on to the debate. And Trump won. And Trump didn't win. I thought he kind of trumped her. I thought he kind of trounced her, basically. And he won in 2 ways. One is he did exactly what I said he should do. My wife came in and said, they listened to you. They were actually listening to the show. They may be, because what I said is she attacks him, he turns it around and attacks her. And this worked in 2 ways. The first way is the personal way, because she comes out, they all get on the tape, they all pile on, and he turns it around with the Bill Clinton thing. And now, who can tell him he doesn't have the right to bring this up? Who can tell him this is not fair game anymore? So here's him turning on Bill on the debate.
If you look at Bill Clinton, far worse, minor words, and his was action. His was what he's done to women. There's never been anybody in the history of politics in this nation that's been so abusive to women. So you can say any way you want to say it, but Bill Clinton was abusive to women. Hillary Clinton attacked those same women and attacked them viciously. 4 of them here tonight. One of the women, who is a wonderful woman, at 12 years old, was raped at 12. Her client, she represented, got him off, and she's seen laughing on 2 separate occasions, laughing at the girl who was raped. Kathy Shelton, that young woman, is here with us tonight. So don't tell me about words. I apologize for those words. But it is things that people say. But what President Clinton did, he was impeached. He lost his license to practice law. He had to pay an $850,000 fine to one of the women, Paula Jones, who's also here tonight. And I will tell you that when Hillary brings up a point like that, and she talks about words that I said 11 years ago, I think it's disgraceful, and I think she should be ashamed of herself, if you want to know the truth.
I'm sorry, but that's a good response. That is a perfectly fair response, because the whole point about Trump is not that he's any good, it's that she's just as bad, and the media covers for her, and that makes her look even worse. We got to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube, but come over to the Daily Wire and hear the rest. We got a lot more coming up.